Pokemon Nuzlocke is a challenge where I try to make these children's games as hard as possible for myself. I can't revive my Pokemon if they faint, no items in battle like X items or potions, and I can only catch one Pokemon per area like a route or a city. Today, I'm going to beat Pokemon Alpha Sapphire, and to make it even harder, I can only use Grass-type Pokemon, and I can't Mega Evolve them either. Let's do it. Our journey begins in Little Root Town, the most isolated city in the entire country. Our mom tries to convince us that our dad might eventually come back, then we release a Poochyena so we can conveniently save the professor and get a free Pokemon. Perfect plan as usual. Treecko will be a pretty fast and reliable Grass-type for us, and it's definitely way better than May's stupid Fire Chicken. We head through Route 102, catch a Lotad named Cattail for the team, then meet our father and experience exactly how divorce can really impact a family. It's like I'm getting replaced. Route 103 and Petalburg Woods are pretty uneventful, except for adding Willow the Shroomish, and then we refuse to support a local business and then arrive in Rustboro City, home of the first gym. May talks to us, f off. Then it's time for gym battle number 1 against gym leader Roxanne. She leads with Geodude and I lead with Treecko. If grass types are Kendrick, then rock ground types are typically Drake in this matchup, but since the sturdy ability functions like a focus sash, at least it gets to survive one extra turn. Anyways, 1 down, 1 to go, and last up is Nose Pass. I swap out into Shroomish, who tanks a Rock Tomb for super light damage, and clearly there's literally nothing to worry about. We're also healing every turn with Mega Drain and Leech Seed, so after a few turns, Roxanne's ace goes down, and we've won ourselves gym badge number 1. Before we get our next badge, we've still got a few things left to take care of. Team Aqua is about as threatening as Drake and Degrassi. God, that's 2 Drake disses in a row. Then we ignore May since we're a big time star now. See this badge? Yeah, I'm in the big leagues now. Dewford Town, the worst place to live in all of Hoenn. Like, no Pokemart and you need to sail to get to the closest one. What if Briny just isn't around? It's time for gym battle number 2, this one against Brawly and his fighting types. He leads with Machop and I lead with Lombre. Fake Out nets us some free damage, then a bubble brings Machop down to the yellow, before a Leer in return drops our part water type's defense. One more bubble brings down Brawly's first Pokemon, and he's left with only his ace, Makuhita. Another bubble does about a third to the fighting type, then a knockoff brings Lombre to half HP and gets rid of his held Oranberry. That kinda sucks, so I swap out into Shroomish on a sand attack that drops our accuracy. Now, I could swap to reset that drop, but I'm a gambling man, so we stay in and connect with a Leech Seed through the drop, giving us some consistent chip damage and healing. We do get another Oranberry knocked off, but Shroomish has still got this in the bag. A Mega Drain brings Makuhita down to the red and then heals us back to full. Then an Arm Thrust does significantly less than I was expecting, not even KOing with a 5 hit plus one of them being a crit. Our Effect Spore conveniently also activates, so we get a free poison off on Makuhita, which conveniently does enough damage to bring down Brawly's ace from the red. With that, we've won our second gym badge of the run and taken down Dewford Town's gym leader. Now that we've got the second badge, we can risk our lives exploring a cave until we rescue this weird old man. Then we hop back on another boat to Slateport City. Team Aqua is destroying the town like they're Eagles fans, so we'll move past that and get right to Route 110, where we grab our next encounter, an Oddish named Hibiscus. I'm letting y'all know now, we will be waiting for a Sunstone, and I need you to know that. If Tangela isn't available, we're getting Blossom, and this is not up for debate. This is not a democracy, it is a dictatorship. May is waiting for us down the route, but she's not too hard, so I'll be quick. Obviously, her lead Wailord isn't hard at all, but her Combuskin makes things a little tricky. Lombre takes neutral damage from fire moves, so he can squeak out the win with some help from Oddish at the last minute. That leaves only Shroomish, and I've got a new poison type to help deal super effective damage. Shroomish and Grovyle chip in too, and just like that, we send May running off, and we can get to Mauville City, home of the third gym. Wally begs and pleads to get his ass kicked, and I'm nothing if not a charitable guy. So before we take on the gym, we've only got one thing left to do. On the route west of Mauville, we can catch a Roselia named Shrub. And last time I played this generation, Roserade hard carried me through, and I'm definitely gonna do that again. Who do you think I am? That leaves only the gym battle in Mauville City, so let's head inside and challenge Watson for Hoenn badge number 3. Watson leads with Magnemite, and I lead with Roselia. We hit a Leech Seed that's gonna end up being useless. Then we get paralyzed by a Thunder Wave. I say useless because Magnemite has the move Volt Switch, so on the next turn, it switches out into Magneton, getting rid of our Leech Seed entirely. To make it even worse, we got fully paralyzed, so we can't even get another Leech Seed off yet. I'm gonna fast forward because scripting this feels like a nightmare. So basically, we set up a Leech Seed, use Mega Drain for more recovery, and then just get confused by Supersonic a bunch of times. In the end, Watson heals with a Hyper Potion and I swap to Gloom, so we're basically just restarting the matchup. I say that, but we're not done fast forwarding yet. Leech Seed is still up, and now it's Gloom's turn to stall with Mega Drain and Leech Seed until Magneton eventually goes down. I'm sure that's the end of the fast forwarding for this battle, right guys? Right? Magnemite comes back out now, so Gloom gets paralyzed after doing a bit of damage, Then I try to get another Leech Seed off with Shroomish, but Magnemite Volt switches into Voltorb, wasting all of our hard work. At least now we can stall with a Leech Seed again. You guys like this content, right? This is what you signed up for? Voltorb eventually goes down, and that leaves only another Steel type that I can't damage, so I wonder what the plan is here. With Magnemite down, that's badge number 3 of the run, and I never want to Leech Seed stall again. Kill me. Route 112 is the entrance to Mount Pyre, but we've got to go through the fiery path before we get the privilege of backtracking. We get kidnapped by a guy in a fedora. This is why I never meet up with Redditors. Then we hustle through my father's ashtray before arriving in Fall Arbor Town. We grab the Dig TM from just outside this guy's goon cave. Then we've got to stop Team Aqua from bullying a professor by wearing pink shirts. Obviously, that worked, so now we're going to have to become the bully ourselves on top of Mount Pyre against Team Aqua leader Archie. Archie leads with Mightyena and I lead with Grovyle. A Rock Smash does decent damage and drops its defense, then Mightyena hits back with a Swagger, boosting our attack by 2 stages but confusing us. Lucky for me, I planned for this. I held Personberry cures that confusion, so now our starter just gets a free attack boost. Let's sweep this one. +2 Leaf Blade brings down Mightyena, and then Archie sends out his ace Sharpedo next. Sorry about that grass weakness there, buddy. That leaves him only with Golbat, a poison flying type, which can be really threatening for our entire team. Lucky for us, a strength is over half, then an air cutter just barely wouldn't have KO'd with a crit. That means we're free to bring down Archie's final Pokemon with one last strength. Let's go get another badge already. Jump, 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 boom, Lava Ridge Town. Let's go to the bathhouse while we're here. I'm sure there's nothing weird about a 10-year-old taking a dip. Now that we've been sufficiently scarred for life, it's time for the gym battle number 4 against Flannery and her fire types. Flannery leads with Slugma and I lead with Lombre. Fake Out gets us some free damage, then on the next turn, Lombre uses the move Water Sport. This move weakens the power of fire moves, but since it's only typically learned by water types, it's normally kinda useless, except in this challenge. Slugma did set up a light screen, but that shouldn't be a big deal for us. I swap out into Roselia as Slugma sets up the sun to essentially cancel out the water sport resistance. Her job is to set up toxic spikes, which will give us a huge advantage later on in the battle. We do have to tank an overheat in the process, but it doesn't even do over half. I decided to risk a crit to set up a Leech Seed, and it totally paid off since overheat just missed anyways. A Giga Drain on the next turn does some decent damage through a light screen, then an overheat just kinda cancels out the recovery we just got. Flannery heals because Slugma's in the red, and since our water sport damage reduction is about to end, I swap into Lombre for free here. A Fake Out gets us some free damage, then a Flame Body burns us, so I guess it wasn't really free. Since Light Screen is gone, Lombre secures KO number 1 of the battle with a super effective Bubble Beam. Torkoal is up next, and thanks to those toxic spikes we set up earlier, we start this battle off with an edge. Since Torkoal is super slow, Lombre can outspeed and set up another Water Sport, and it's just in time since Torkoal retaliates with a neutral overheat that now does like a quarter of our HP. Since Torkoal is now -2 special attack, I feel totally comfortable staying in and using a Bubble Beam for over half before the sun gets set up. Thanks to our poison from earlier though, Torkoal is low enough that even a sun resisted Bubble Beam still brings down Flannery's normally terrifying ace. That leaves only Numel left for the 4th gym leader, and with the burn, I know I can't stay in here with Lombre. I bring in Roselia as Numel uses Amnesia to boost its special defense. Leech Seed gets us some recovery, then Roselia gets hit with an Earth Power, bringing us down into the yellow before our held Oranberry. Water Sport fades, so we kinda need to risk a crit here. So after Giga Drain does all of Numel's HP with a critical hit? Oh, okay, cool. Well, that's gym badge number 4 in our case, so let's keep it going. Halfway through Hoenn, and May invites herself over to my dad's place for Christmas. At least she fast travels me there, so like, I guess she can stay for dessert. I also grabbed a Cacnea named Thistle and a Lileep named Lileep because I forgot to change it. I know what it seems like, but no. I'm actually not perfect. I'm just only handsome. A few quick fights through Norman's gym gauntlet, and it's time for the first official fight between father and son. Norman leads with his first Slaking, and I lead with Grovyle. Since we grabbed the Dig TM from Fall Arbor Town, and Slaking can only attack every other turn, thanks to its Truant ability, that means we can just stall it out. So I'll fast forward here with some Subway Surfers gameplay. And boom, sorry, this guy's really good at Subway Surfers. Anyways, second up is Vigoroth, who's probably better than Slaking overall. I swapped to the Leap to resist the incoming normal type move, but it just went for Encore instead. Now that the double power Retaliate is off the table, I swap out into Breloom on a super weak Feint attack. Retaliate does significantly more on the next turn, but right after that, a super effective Force Palm secures a one-shot KO on Norman's second Pokemon. That leaves only his last Pokemon, his ace Slaking. But this one is actually faster than Grovyle, so we can't stall it out. I bring in the Leap to tank the resisted Retaliate, which still does a ton of damage since Slaking has crazy stats. We get a free turn here thanks to Truant, so the Leap hits a critical hit Giga Drain for less than half, but we get a bunch of recovery thanks to it. Swagger confuses the leap on the next turn, and of course we hit ourselves, but I'm going to fast forward again since this is a lot of confusion and a lot of truant turns and it's boring, but eventually we do bring down Slaking, but we did have to risk a critical hit in the middle there. With Norman's ace down, we've won Hoenn Gym Badge number 5. Wally's dad gives us Surf for kicking his son's ass, a whole family of masochists, I guess. So now the region is a little more open to us. We surf over to Route 118, where the strange rich man from earlier kidnaps us and brings us to his special island. Is Stephen Jeffrey Epstein? On Route 119, we grab a Tropius, which kinda sucks. Then we pull up to the Weather Institute and stop Team Aqua's continued bullying of scientists. The way they're just bullying nerds, this might as well be like a Noah Centineo movie. May is boring, so let's just head straight to Four Tree City. The rich man appears again and gives us a special pair of binoculars to see through things. Again, I don't feel very good about this guy. After skipping a few subway fares inside the gym, it's time for our 6th gym battle of the run against Winona and her flying types. Winona leads with Swellow and I lead with Laleep. Aerial Ace is neutral to my part rock type, and it does pretty light damage before an Ancient Power brings Swellow down to the red and gets us an Omni boost. Well, that definitely wasn't part of the plan, but I'm gonna take the free boost and let's steer a little bit. Why did I use Rock Tomb? Stupid P, stupid. Well, that means Laleep has to tank another Aerial Ace for no reason, and then we bring down Swellow, but that was a giant waste of HP on my best Pokemon for this fight. Second up is Skarmory, which is normally super annoying to deal with. Since we've got those boosts though, I kinda just wanna see how far we're gonna go. So I stay in, use an Ancient Power for over half, then a Sand Attack drops our accuracy. Luckily, we break through that drop and connect with another Ancient Power to bring down Winona's Steel type. Third up is Altaria, and the flying gym leader's ace actually doesn't have a flying type move. It's only got Earthquake and Dragon Breath to do damage, so I swap into Tropius on an Earthquake that she's immune to. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, this might be the longest and most boring stall I've ever done in my life. First, I swapped to Roselia to get off a Leech Seed, then it was Stall City. Since Altaria has the move Cotton Guard to give it a +3 to its physical defense, it gets to +6 right away, and we're just trying to chip away with flies and stomps from Tropius, and it takes forever. Eventually though, our tiny amounts of damage eventually add up and bring down Winona's ace Pokemon. I'm glad I put subway servers up because that was going to be long. Last up for Four Trees gym leader is Pelipper. So I swap back into Laleep on a critical hit Aerial Ace for some pretty light damage, all things considered. Pelipper has the move Roost, a recovery move that also gets rid of the user's flying type for the rest of the turn. I used it a lot in my X only run, but this time I'm going to use it to my advantage. I'll fast forward again, but after a couple turns, Pelipper uses Roost, so our Giga Drain becomes super effective, so Laleep can actually just get a KO from almost full HP. With that, gym number 6 is down and it's time to get back on our journey. Route 120 and 121 are probably the most boring routes of all time, but at least we can go to the Safari Zone and catch nothing awesome. Once we're in Lily Cove, we have a quick final battle against May, and I think May deserves the disrespect, so we're just gonna skip her one last time. Did my Tropius die in this fight? Never ask me that question again. Once we scale up Mount Pyre, the biggest man I've ever seen in my life wants to fight me, and I don't stand a chance against an NFL linebacker. Thankfully, he meant a Pokemon fight, and his Sharpedo just gets KO'd by my grass types, so we get to live another day. After a quick field trip to watch a fascist Team Aqua rally in Slateport, we've got to go head into the Team Aqua hideout and fight Matt again. Really? Do I have a death wish or something? I'm like Jake Paul, like I only want to fight old people. I don't want to fight these like real pros. Thank God he still only has a Sharpedo though, so it's not too hard. To chase down Archie, we need the Dive HM. And the only way to get it is by taking down the 7th gym. So we make a quick trip to Moss Deep City, grab a couple of evolution stones for Gloom and Lombre, then challenge the twin gym leaders, Tate and Liza. Tate and Liza lead with Solrock and Lunatone, and I lead with Sceptile and Cacturn. Sceptile's the fastest, so we connect with a Leaf Blade to bring Solrock all the way down to the red before Solrock sets up a Sunny Day, and Lunatone sets up a Light Screen. Then our part Dark type uses the super effective Energy Ball to do over half to Lunatone. I try to gamble that Tate and Liza won't heal, so Cacturn tries to use a Sucker Punch, but it fails after a Hyper Potion. Lucky for us, Sceptile targeted the half HP Lunatone, so our starter gets the first KO of the battle, making this a 2v1. Now that Solrock basically has to attack this turn, this battle is as good as over. Sucker Punch gets priority now, bringing Solrock down to the red, then Sceptile is faster, so a final Leaf Blade brings down Tate and Liza's last Pokemon, and we've won our 7th gym badge of the Hoenn region. Now that we have Dive, it's time for our final battle with Archie, and this one is actually going to be kinda hard. Mega Sharpedo is no joke, plus he's got a pretty tough Crobat and a Muck that does a lot of super effective damage to us. Plus, this is iced out. How do I even compete? Archie leads with Mightyena, and I lead with Blossom. Taunt forces us to only use attacking moves as we connect with an Acid, getting a critical hit and doing some solid chip damage. Essentially, we just need to avoid Swagger confusion. So I swapped to Sceptile, expecting to need to pivot again, but Mightyena just used Takedown. I'll take that. From this HP, a super effective X-Scissor brings down the Dark type, and second up is Muck, which can be really threatening to your team. Unless you have a super fast Pokemon that's also pretty strong and also learns Earthquake. Oh, plus, if you have a Soft Sand, it's even easier. That's one threat down, but we've still got 2 left on Archie's team. The first being Crobat. I swapped to Cradily, who tanks an Acrobatics for solid damage, but there's something else we gotta discuss. See that? Cradily was holding the Sticky Barb item, an item that transfers to other Pokemon if they make contact and does a little bit of chip damage every turn. It also helps us because Crobat is using the move Acrobatics, a move that does double damage if the user isn't holding an item. Since we're forcing Crobat to hold an item now, we cut his damage in half, and that should be another threat pretty easily dealt with. A couple ancient powers bring down the flying type, and Archie is left with only his ace, Sharpedo, who's about to become a Mega real soon. Thankfully, it doesn't have Ice Fang anymore in this battle, which makes my life a lot easier. Unfortunately, easy doesn't mean perfect, and we're gonna need to make sure we get through this, so Cacturne needs to pay the ultimate price here. He does get some chip damage thanks to Spiky Shield, but he goes down to a Poison Fang, so I can safely bring Sceptile back in. Even in its Mega form, Sceptile is still faster than Sharpedo, and a single super effective Leaf Blade secures us a one-shot KO, and wins us our final battle against the Team Aqua leader. Well, the world is cooked now, and Steven makes it my problem apparently. We head to the Cave of Origin, put on some drip that we got from Archie, then we get super lucky and somehow survive an encounter with a super-powered dinosaur. We didn't lose a Pokemon, so I'll take it. After saving the world, we don't get a parade, that's weird, though we do get something that's a little bit better. Over in Little Root, Professor Elm gives us the National Dex, and that opens up a couple new encounters to us. Using the Dex Nav, we can scan for special Pokemon that aren't typically available in Hoenn. For example, on Route 104, we can head over and grab ourselves a Sewaddle from Unova named Hedge that can pretty quickly evolve into Leavanny. After that, we head back over to Route 117 and grab ourselves a Deerling. Now, is this technically an eligible encounter? No, because we caught Roselia here earlier. But I'm making an exception because Springform Sawsbuck is really cool and it's my run and I want to use my favorite Unovan Pokemon. I'm a Gen 5 stan, sue me. Anyways. My pre-arguing with the comment section is done now, so let's go complete our gym challenge. One quick flight to Sootopolis City and one very easy puzzle later, it's time for our gym fight with Wallace. Wallace leads with Love Disc and I lead with Roserade. Since this isn't a ROM hack like Renegade Platinum, Love Disc is garbage. So a Giga Drain pretty easily takes care of Wallace's lead Pokemon, and second up is his ace, Milotic. This isn't a great matchup for us, so after our Giga Drain brings Milotic into the yellow, if this Ice Beam freezes us, we're in a lot of trouble, but it doesn't, so we're in the clear. A Citrus Berry gives us a bit of recovery, then 2 more Giga Drains after a Hyper Potion bring down Wallace's ace. Third up is Wishcash, and honestly, guys, this battle is over. All 3 of Wishcash, Celio, and Seaking go down to 1 Giga Drain apiece. That's Wallace taken care of, and all 8 gym badges of Hoenn are ours. With our case sufficiently iced out, it's time for this big dog to take on the puppies of the Elite Four. Before that, we need to break all the laws of physics, climb a waterfall, and then head all the way through Victory Road until we run into Wally, who's decided he wants to try out the ass kicking this time. It doesn't work out well for him, since after Sawsbuck gets up a Leech Seed on Wally's lead, Cradily can just get an Omni Boost while taking it down, and then chain KOs on Magneton and Roselia. After getting some decent damage on Delcatty, our Fossil Sweep comes to an end, then Leavanny can get a KO with the move Fell Stinger, giving us a +3 attack boost. I'm going to discuss that a little bit later though, but yeah, that attack boost just kind of means we can outspeed and KO Wally's Ace Gallade, even after it Mega Evolves. See you later, step bro. Welcome to the Pokemon League, where we gotta use 6 grass types to not only get through an ice type trainer, but also a Dragon Master and a Petaf. I'm bringing Leavanny for some help with Sydney and for some quick KOs, Sawsbuck for some crazy utility, Roserade to hopefully carry us through with Weather Ball, Sceptile to secure any fast KOs after a sacrifice, Cradily to stall out some annoying Pokemon, and Ludicolo to help tank some potential fire or steel type moves. Can these 6 beat everything the Elite Four has to offer? Let's find out. Sydney is the first Elite Four member we gotta take on in this run. He leads with Mightyena and I lead with Sceptile. Intimidate drops our attack, but Sceptile isn't sticking around very long. I swap out to Leavanny on a Swagger, raising our attack by 2 stages and confusing us, but That confusion is cured right away by a held Persimberry. Getting this +2 boost is crucial for the battle, since after we tank a priority Sucker Punch, a super effective +2 Fell Stinger can secure us the KO, and this move might be pretty weak base power wise, but its secondary effect gives us a +3 boost if we get a KO with it. That means our Leavanny is now +5 and ready to sweep the entire battle. Absol is out second, but not even Sydney's Ace can compete with a +5 super effective X-Scissor. Next up is Sharpedo, who could potentially threaten us with its really high speed stat, but thankfully we have a level advantage at this point in the Elite Four, so we're still faster and get a KO with a super effective Leaf Blade. Fourth up is Shiftry, and after we protect on the first turn because of Fake Out, we secure a free KO with 4 times super effective X-Scissor. Last up is Cacturn, and it does have Spiky Shield that does a bit of damage to us, but that's not going to save it from Leavanny's Fury. We've won our first battle of this gauntlet, and that one definitely had the easiest strategy. Phoebe and her ghost types are the second challenge of the Elite Four, and she leads with Dusclops and I lead with Roserade. She can learn Shadow Ball, and with this massive special attack stat, we can actually just get a one-shot KO here, bringing out Phoebe's second Pokemon, Banette. Same thing here, Banette just doesn't have the stats to stand up to Roserade, so that's a second straight one-shot KO. Third up is Phoebe's new ace, Dusknoir. I actually think Dusclops with Eviolite is better than its Gen 4 evolution. I answered like 20 comments about that on TikTok for my Sword Ghost only run, but that lack of bulk means that Shadow Ball leaves Dusknoir in the red, so now Phoebe is going to heal because he's in the red, but I've got two choices. Swap out for free, or what I'm actually going to do, gamble on the Dethaw. It's a 20% chance, so I'm going to take that gamble. Phoebe heals with a full restore, and Roserade actually dethaws. Bring Dusknoir right back to the red with another Shadow Ball. Making a gamble like that just gets my heart racing. 2 more Shadow Balls bring down Phoebe's ace, and she's left with 2 Pokemon. The first of those being Sableye. Since this guy isn't weak to ghost moves like the rest, I swap out into Leavanny on a super light Fake Out. Leaf Blade does a bit more than I was expecting, then a super effective Power Gem drops Leavanny to around half HP. Another full restore wastes some time, but Leavanny safely brings down Phoebe's 4th Pokemon. That leaves only her second Banette, and since this Pokemon has terrible stats, a single Leaf Blade from Leavanny takes down the final Pokemon of the battle. Just like that, we're halfway through the Elite Four. Third up in this gauntlet is Glacia and her ice types. She leads with Glalie and I lead with Sawsbuck. A Thunder Wave paralyzes Glacia's ice types, then it sets up a light screen to reduce some special damage. A priority Ice Shard on the next turn does some solid chip, then a Sunny Day gives us a unique advantage in this battle. I want to pivot here, but I need to burn a few turns of light screen first, so Sawsbuck connects with a Horn Leech to get some recovery, then Glalie overwrites our Sun with Hail. I still need that, so we set the Sun up again and Glalie stays fully paralyzed. I swap out into Roserade as Glalie once again overwrites our Sun with Hail. After we tank an Ice Shard and get the Sun back up, it's time to kickstart our plan. Roserade has the move Weather Ball, a special attacking move that changes type and power depending on the current weather condition. In the Sun, it's a 100 base power Fire type move, the perfect counter to Glacia's Ice type Pokemon. That being said, that's Glalie, Frostlass, and Frostlass number 2 down in a blaze of fire. Fourth up is Walrein, and the only reason he didn't get included in the split screen is because Roserade has a Miracle Seed and uses a boosted Giga Drain instead of a Weather Ball. See you later, Andy Reid. Better luck next year. That leaves only Glacia's second Glalie remaining on the team, and this shouldn't be too bad either. The Sun is gone, so we set that up as Glalie just tosses the game by using Protect, and now that the Sun's up, one final Weather Ball brings down Glacia's last Pokemon, and we've only got one Elite Four battle left in this run. Dragon Master Drake is the last obstacle in this Elite Four, and it's not going to be an easy one. He leads with Altaria, and I lead with Ludicolo. A super effective Aerial Ace does a bit less than half to our Grass Water type, then we use this turn to set up the Rain, which is going to activate our Swift Swim ability, making us the fastest Pokemon in this battle. With our newfound speed advantage, Ludicolo outspeeds on the next turn and connects with a 4 times super effective Ice Beam, for a one-shot KO on Drake's lead Pokemon. Second up is Flygon, but another 4 times weakness isn't going to help Drake out here. Third up is Salamence, whose Intimidate ability drops our attack. Too bad we're using a special move. See you later, Ments. Fourth up is Kingdra, which doesn't have an Ice type weakness thanks to its part Water type. Our Ice Beam only does like a third, then it retaliates with a Yawn, a move that puts the target to sleep on the next turn, essentially forcing us to swap out. I bring in Sceptile, but the AI seems to understand that I need to swap, so it used Yawn again, putting Sceptile on the same timer. I swap back to Ludicolo, the AI uses Yawn again, then Sceptile comes back out and Kingdra finally uses Dragon Pulse. that gets a sniper boosted 2.25 times critical hit, bringing us down to the red. Awesome. I swapped to Cradilly now, who tanks a Dragon Pulse fairly well, and I need a plant. An Energy Ball brings Kindra down to the yellow, and a Yawn forces us to make a choice. Stay in and get put to sleep, or try to pivot again. I really don't think I'll need our fossil for Drake's last Pokemon, so we stay in. Kingdra uses Yawn again for no reason, then Cradilly secures KO number 4 of the battle with a final Energy Ball. We fall asleep and Drake sends out his final Pokemon, a second Flygon. I swap to Ludicolo again on a resisted Earthquake, bringing us down to yellow before a held Citrus Berry gives us a bit of recovery. From here, Flygon just misses a Supersonic, then Ludicolo finishes off the battle with another 4 times super effective Ice Beam. With that, we're through the Elite Four Gauntlet, and we've only got one final test left in this run. We enter the final room and find Mr. Steven Epstein, waiting for us to take the title of champion. He leads with Skarmory and I lead with Ludicolo. Now, if Skarmory uses Toxic and then gets a critical hit Aerial Ace in that order, the run is just over, plain and simple. Well, this started poorly. Our Surf did some solid damage though, so all we need is for Skarmory to not crit us with Aerial Ace. And it sets up spikes. Okay, so we're still in business. Ludicolo sets up the Rain, activating his ability and boosting water moves. With both of those boosts, we can actually outspeed and secure our first KO of the battle. Second up is Steven's own Cradilly, and I really need Ludicolo for something else later on, so I swap out into my own fossil for a mirror matchup, as we tank some spikes damage, a sludge bomb, and get poisoned, leaving us at just above half HP. This doesn't look great for us now, but let's see what we can do. I'll fast forward, but basically, we're using Giga Drain to get some really important chip damage before our fossil eventually goes down. I bring Leavanny out now, and her entire job is to get this KO with a super effective X-Scissor. That's 2 Pokemon down for Steven, and he sends out Aggron third. This Pokemon hits like a train, and I need a clean swap, so Leavanny breaks Sturdy with a Leaf Blade, then eats a super effective Stone Edge, making this battle a 4v4. I bring in Sceptile now, and we've got a great edge in this matchup. With help from a Miracle Seed and Aggron's terrible diet, this neutral Grass Knot can actually get our starter his first KO of the Elite Four. That prompts Steven to send out Armaldo fourth, and the triumph for our starter is going to be pretty short-lived. We get some chip damage with Leaf Blade, then Sceptile falls to a super effective X-Scissor. We're back on equal footing with 3 Pokemon left each, and I send out Ludicolo next. I kept him alive for this exact reason, all because I need him to set up the Rain before going down to another X-Scissor. You've done your job well, soldier. Now I bring out Roserade for the first time in this battle, and it's actually because we've still got Weather Ball. So now that we have a super strong Rain boosted water type move, that's a safe way to bring down Armaldo without risking any crits. Claydol is next up for Steven, and I need 2 things set up before we get the KO. First, we need the Sun up. To make that happen, I swap into Sawsbuck, who's holding the Heat Rock, as Claydol sets up a Light Screen, which is the second thing we need. Well, I guess the thing I don't need. As long as the Sun is up and Light Screen isn't active, we should have this battle all wrapped up. I'll fast forward because it's not very interesting, but in the end, I KO Claydol with a Horn Leech on the final turn of Light Screen, and now when Metagross comes out last, all the pieces are in place. Metagross Mega Evolves, which is terrifying, but thanks to our Chlorophyll ability boosting our speed in the sun, Sawsbuck is actually faster, so we can hit a Thunder Wave to paralyze Metagross, cutting its speed to 1/4. Our Unova Pokemon does pay the ultimate price here, but that sacrifice won't be in vain. I bring out our final Pokemon, Roserade, and with the Fire-type Weather Ball, boosted by the sun and a held Charcoal, and Paralysis making us faster, this battle is over. One single attack is all it takes, bringing down Metagross and winning us a hardcore Nuzlocke of Pokemon Alpha Sapphire with only Grass-type Pokemon. Thanks guys so much for watching this one. I tried a different style of script writing for this video. Let me know if you liked it in the comments or by hitting like. If you hated it, please just send me a direct hate message to this address. If you want to leave a hate comment so bad, you can learn how to write a letter, you Zoomers. I'm excited for March. I've got a couple pretty cool videos planned for the spring, so stay tuned guys. Subscribe if you haven't already, and with that being said, I'll see you guys next time.